Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to the continuation of this week's Halloween. I don't even know what you want to call it. I just came up with this idea, and I was like, Halloween's almost here. I'll try to shoot a video every day that has some sort of Halloween type appeal to it. So today I thought we would look at something really different, which is an artist that I love his work. It's Kris Kuksi, and he's an assemblage, Baroque, Rococo artist. These are huge models that he makes. They're beautiful. They're haunting. They're macabre. They deal with war themes and death and all kinds of cool stuff. We'll get into it in a second because I this is one of the few times that I actually grabbed a Wikipedia page. I generally never go to Wikipedia before I start a video, but I wanted to have a little bit of background on Kris. Anyway, let's check this out really fast first. So he's from Lawrence, Kansas, which I actually found interesting. My band played in Lawrence. He's the right age where, in theory, he might, if he went and saw bands back then, based on his imagery, I would say that he might have liked my band. Anyway, so, all right, so it says his influences are the Baroque and Rococo periods. He's described how he feels more in belonging to the old world, and that his art is very much a reaction to the corrupt and demoralized fall of modern-day society, a place where new beginnings, new wars, new philosophies, and new endings exist. So his assemblage, because I thought this would be interesting for people, is he cuts and reshapes old objects, toys, mechanical components, other parts, and refashions them into works of art that bear little resemblance to the original appearance. He also collects toys from around the world and objects from around the world, including the Ukraine, Germany, Prague, Philippines, Lithuania, Japan, and Singapore. Now, I can't guarantee that all of this stuff is completely accurate. I've often wondered if at this point in his career, he can't also actually create some of the stuff through 3D models that would be printed out. So it's possible that he may occasionally, like if he needs a particular piece, commission someone to create one. I'm not saying that he does that, but I'm just saying that like that would also be an option for him. The stuff is incredible. I've not seen a piece in person, but I actually was part of an art museum up in Culver City that the owner had seen some of the pieces in person. He said it was real interesting seeing them in person. Guillermo del Toro owns one. But anyway, so we're going to go full screen mode. We're going to look at quite a few of these. And this is older Instagram images we're looking at first. I have folders and folders of this guy's stuff. I've been saving it for a long time. And then we're going to look at some of his more recent posts on Instagram. But one interesting thing about Kris's stuff is, like, if you've seen my black drawing pieces, in a weird way, he was the only other artist that I had seen while I was actually doing some of the pieces where I went like, it's interesting. We have a similar train of thought, and yet we do it in two different mediums. But, in a weird way, they are similar. It was I when I first saw his stuff, I was like, oh, that's trippy. We're definitely sort of on the same wavelength, just in different mediums. So if you haven't checked on my Instagram, I will post a link. I don't generally plug that much on these types of videos. I will have links to all of Kris's stuff, though. So anyway, this is not a super high-res photo, but we'll get into the details and stuff as we move along. So here's a little tight shot of something that he used. So, the appeal to all of us is going to be a combination of things as we watch this video. Is one, it's really fantastic what he creates. It's really interesting sometimes, I think, trying to understand what comes from where and how it was all done, because they're nuts. They really, really are crazy. And I love three-dimensional works of art, sculpture and things like that. And so the fact that these actually are like tangible things, I find really, really interesting. But I mean, this is just beautiful. I mean, who knows? It could be a sewing machine part, little Civil War toys. Gosh, who knows what all of this was a combination of. Maybe that's Cyclops' head from Marvel. I don't know. I imagine his eBay searches are quite wild. It was interesting too. Is like for years I've always bought like weird stuff at swap meets, and never really had like a real use for them. But oh, this was just I wanted to remember what they referred to his art was, and it was the Rococo. I was gonna joke and say so it's post-industrial Rococo. I was gonna joke and say you're gonna learn some new big fancy words today. One being Rococo. But anyway, but yeah, you know, for a long time I'd always been buying like little weird things like this, black and white photos and things like that. Like I said, I mean, even though I do comics, I mean, I definitely have, I think, in some ways, a more exploratory, maybe fine art sort of mind. You know, and this stuff appeals to me just because of the oddity of it. But it's pretty phenomenal work. I mean, and look, you know, as artists. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. They're great study tools, to be quite honest. You know, because you can really like. I think it's always neat to see form and how lighting affects form and stuff like that. That was the one thing that the art gallery guy that I talked to, who had seen some of these pieces in person, said. He said lighting is tremendous part of the display because if they're overlit, they're actually very complex to look at. So the photography, in some ways, helps. You know, and it's one of those things too. Like even for like Beeple crap, you know, like he's very successful now. Once your stuff starts to pick up some steam, you're able to control things better. Meaning that, like, you know, if you go to a gallery, you go, look, this thing needs to be lit like a certain way for it to really, really be dynamic. And he probably can control that much easier now, where they're willing to go the extra mile to make sure this stuff looks like tits. I think that's what they used to say in person. You know, it's incredibly important. That's so good. I actually, this is a terrible analogy, but I actually love, I follow a lot of people that paint like lead figures and stuff like that too. And like Dungeons and Dragons, things like that. I just think this stuff is so fun. Anything three-dimensional, again, is just like infinitely interesting to me. Man, it's great. There's some really good YouTube videos of people that do like ship model displays and stuff like that. Man, it's crazy. But yeah, this is really good. It's neat being able to see these detailed photos because, to be honest, when I first saw his work online, really all you could find was shots that were maybe 5-6 feet away from the pieces. You know, more like the whole thing, and it's really, really cool being able to actually appreciate the finer details and stuff like that. These are wild. It's funny because this is reminding me now of Bosch, and I was like, shoot, I was going to do a Bosch video too. I'll throw him into Super Fun Sunday because we have to do some Bosch. Oh man, look at that. It's crazy, right? But you could see if this thing was lit wrong, it could maybe be a little bit confusing to see in person. Let me know if you own any of these toys. I was like, in my mind, I was joking and thinking like that. I was like, that was like the Death Star. I mean, he might throw in some Star Wars stuff. I don't know. I doubt it. You never know. This guy needs a lot of models. This thing is no joke. The new photography, I think, will be actually like even better too. Like, oh man, I remember this. God, it's crazy. Sorry, my phone was beeping. I just wanted to check and make sure it wasn't anything important. Wow. How I tied this in with Halloween is there's one house about a mile or two from my house on Halloween, and they fill their yard and patio and all around their house with all this cool shit, and it kind of reminds me of this. They have like enough for 5 haunted houses, and so they've sectioned off different parts of their yard. And you might have like a Medusa section, and then there's a Dracula section. And I highly doubt they're familiar with Chris's work, but some of it looks like this. I've actually taken video of it because we go every year because it's like a must visit. But yeah, so I thought, there's definitely creepy elements. This is great. And he's become, pretty influential. There's definitely a few artists out there that do stuff that's very, very similar. In fact, generally, if you see one of the pieces, you might assume that it's something from Kris initially. This is more of this. Wow, I didn't even notice this guy working here. Is this... man. Of course, Guillermo del Toro has them. Wow, look at this. There's the Medusa statue right here. I think it's Medusa. Oh, hard to tell. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, I've never really looked at these on my computer. Well, that's not exactly true. Not exactly like this, I would say. Like zooming in and all these details and stuff like that. Yeah, if he had some friends in his ZBrush, 3D coat, like even Blender, really, I guess. He'd be like, bro, this is what I need. I want an angel with boxing gloves, chains around his arms. Put some little dudes. Maybe that's probably not part of the fun though. And this is another one of those things too that people see the work and they kind of go, it's like, I'm not saying that people would do this, but you don't realize how particular he might be about like actually placement of things, because he may try 10 or 15 different things like on this thing, and just none of them visually hit the note that they want. The silhouette is wrong, or it doesn't have the right symbolism and stuff like that, and it's probably a way more insane process than just sort of stacking a bunch of stuff on other stuff and doing all this. I remember these, the tank buildings, tractors. Oh yeah. Damn. But yeah, if you look at some of my black drawing pieces, I mean, you could definitely see like that it is somewhat similar. I've got one I'm going to post tomorrow that's super super evil. It was commissioned for a band, but I went hog wild on it, and it actually does kind of look like something like this. It's pretty nuts. It's all got all kinds of like weird ideas and stuff in it. Man, this is so cool. I can't imagine what like his workspace looks like in terms of like drawers and wow, this is cool. I love the lace. Man, this is an oldie. This is taking me back. Holy cow. This was so long ago, or feels like it was so long ago. This is great. Who is this? Who is this dude? There's an alligator with a goat on him. Damn. Man, I'm so glad that he's able to do this. This is so cool over here. God, look at the scaffolding thing here. Dude, this is just nuts. I guess train sets and stuff like that would come in handy. I don't know. I'm not sure what this is. This was a drawing he did. He went to art school, it said. This is cool. it's, I mean, I'm glad he can share details of this stuff online now, because I mean, before you really weren't able to see all the stuff that was going on. I mean, it is pretty interesting when you start to be able to actually like check it out. I wonder now if like when he goes places, people give him stuff like, "Bro, I've got a box of stuff I want to give you." I'm sure it happens. If I was him, I would say it. I would just say on Instagram, I'd be like, "Oh, here's a PO box. If you got some weird toys you don't want, any kind of metal sculpted objects, weird shapes, patterns, send them my way. I'll make use of them. Guarantee." Man, it's crazy. Oh man, look at this. Holy cow. And honestly, I'm kind of hoping that maybe there's a few people that have never seen this guy's stuff. You're in for a wild ride. Like, and I'm nearly sure that the photography actually like even gets more and more high res as we when I open the next batch of pages. I grabbed old and then I wanted to grab new. God, this is great right here. This looks like a fight on the stage. I mean, this right here almost looks like a painting. Oh, this is so good. Yeah, we have the same level of insanity. God, that's so neat. I'd be curious of what this original piece looked like. Like, what... It looks like a theater set? I don't even... Yeah, it looks like a... Yeah, you wonder, like, okay, so was this part of the original piece? Was this... These don't look like they were. There's some symmetry up here that's interesting, too, because you see... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's, like, tough to wrap your brain around it. I don't know if he does works in progress. I don't kind of think he does. Oh, yeah, look at this. How do you even move this to show it anywhere? It must be a night, like whatever gallery represents him, like when he's done and he's in Lawrence, Kansas, he's like, hey, I got a new one done. It's like 12 feet wide by, 17 feet tall, whatever. I don't know what the dimensions of these are. Yeah, you're going to need to send a truck and we'll move it. Can you imagine how fragile these things are? You'd have to double stamp it fragile, because FedEx, they're rough on things. God. Yeah, and again, I mean, he's got the symmetry going here with quite a few things. Is this a flip? No. This seems like a logistical nightmare. So yeah, because this and this are similar. These are, I mean, there's a lot of things. I don't want to go through and be like pointing out every one of them, but man, this is really cool down here too. I don't know how you do it, Kris. Oh my gosh. It must take him forever to get through like the dollar store toy section. It's like, wait a second, I think I can use that. Man. It's interesting too, is some of them look melty. I was noticing that in some of the other things where it's like, I don't know if he puts something on them that makes it look like it's melting a little bit, or if it's just oh yeah, this is cool. Man, this piece is great. Man, I've never ever looked at this stuff to this extent. It's actually very, very fun. This is going to be one that I'll probably watch back a bunch of times because there's a lot to take in here. This is fascinating. I'm just not on Instagram that much. Like, in particular on the phone app, which is where, they want you to spend, like, the heavy lifting time. But I mean, I'll flip through people's images. A lot of times I just kind of screen cap it and, like, I go, I'll look at this later, and then I never do. But this is great. I mean, kind of how these videos all happened was this exact thing, which is it gives me an opportunity to look at the work. It gives me an opportunity to share the work with people. Hopefully, bring some attention to the artist, although a lot of these people don't really need it. And then, it's fun to discuss it and then learn about more artists. So, people have been asking me a lot this week to do a video on my stuff, the black drawing work. But we're not going to have time going up to Halloween. It would be impossible to do it. So, at some point in the future, I will for sure. I wonder. I mean, he's got to. I was gonna say he must use like the old lead figures. God, this is crazy. Just wanted to zoom out and get the read. I wonder how many of these large pieces he's done up to this point. Man, oh, that's crazy. This guy's like. So what do you think? Do you want to make one of these? You got room in your garage to start your project? What's your base model gonna be? Oh, nice. Book signing. That's a nice big thick book. I like what I'm seeing here. Yeah, this is really, really beautiful. Hey, okay, I'm back. You won't have noticed that I left, but I had to do some stuff, so I've been gone for like 10 or 15 minutes. But anyway, let's get back to the video. As I was gone, though, I was actually thinking about the complexity of having these pieces finished at his home and then moving them. I mean, that really actually has to be quite an ordeal. I don't know what this is. Again, might be some of his traditional work from when he was in school, or just paintings he's done. Wow, that's cool. I'm sure when he finds a winner figure, he tries to get as many as possible. He's probably got some favorites. It's interesting if you look at the differences. This guy's got something right here that's different than this guy's sleeve. This guy has actually got something attached here. You know what I mean? There's definitely differences. I don't know how big these particular little pieces are, even on their heads. That's really crazy. Yeah, I always wonder, like, where does he get this stuff? Well, we already know. The Philippines, the Ukraine, Germany, Lithuania. I'm sure anywhere he can. Man, it's crazy. You know, it's interesting too. Is so, man. The more you think about this, the more you kind of wonder, like, as he's putting them together, is he gluing it? And if you glue it and it's one piece, I guess it would be more sturdy. That's really fascinating. I kind of like speculating before I find out the actual thing, because it sort of lets your imagination run wild. But look, those types of parameters on something like this as a concept sometimes is enough to deter people from actually attempting it, because you just go, well, like, how much is it going to cost for me to buy all these toys? And I'm not saying to copy him, but just pieces. Just the amount of stuff that's just in this little section seems like it would take a small lifetime to accumulate. This is awesome. Oh, yeah, let me go full screen mode. Sorry. there's like a bear holding a baby bear right there. It's my big discovery. Who's it? This looks like the Hulk's arm. If you're a big toy fan, you may actually be able to recognize some stuff from this. I don't know. I can't say for a fact that I've seen anything that I recognize from something that I could be convinced of. Some vintage toys are actually quite expensive too. You know, like soldier figures and stuff like that. Depending on the sets, they can get expensive. This almost looks like Walkie Talkie Dude. Speaking of that, I could no, I think he's got the bazooka. Is it the bazooka dude? I might have spotted something finally. There was a toy set that I had as a kid. I don't actually want to say the name of it because I want to actually buy one at some point. But it's like a World War II like toy set. But the figures were great, and they're different than the ones that people are like most familiar with. But it's expensive. It's not cheap. I actually had it twice too. It was a fairly big set, and my parents had got it for me. And as kids will do, for a period of time, it just sort of falls apart. I actually ended up getting a second one of it, but as an adult now, I want to reclaim it. This is cool. Man, this thing is huge. It's just incredible. Whoa, ladies. If I'm leaving the party, which one am I taking? Probably creepy stabby eyes with the weird tongue. She seems like she's a go-getter. Alright. Enough of that. Whoa! Oh my god. Just trying to figure out what's on her. She's got like a pistol? I don't know what this is. It's like another character here. We got the baby. And who knows? I mean, based on the Beksinski interviews that I watched after the thing, I had seen him before, but it had been a little while, so I kind of refreshed my memory on him. You know, he says, "Oh, people look at my stuff and they see all the symbolism and stuff like that," and he kind of denies it. He's just like, just, you know, do what comes to mind, and if it feels like it works in the piece, then I do it. But people place meaning on it that I don't personally have, so we can only speculate on when Kris is putting this stuff down. You know, is it a free for all, or does he try to come up with like some types of themes throughout it? Yeah, it's God. There's so many. This guy's really interesting looking. This is too, actually. This almost looks like something from like Street Fighter. He's in quite an action pose. I was gonna say, this looks like a gun, or like the barrel of a gun. Those little vents. I don't know. Okay. Wow. Damn. God, the colors on this one are great. Some Egyptian stuff here. Oh, this is nice. Thing is like pouring stuff out, and there's some characters looking like they're gonna ride it down. Now, I would definitely think that when you've got like a little moment like this, that you'd be at least somewhat particular about which characters you're going to throw in there. I doubt it's completely willy nilly, as they say. Orangutan with an axe and holding a small woman. Oh wow, that's cool. I think the other interesting thing when you look at this stuff is I sometimes wonder what all the different materials are made out of. I would assume some of it's plastic, some of it's probably, well, it's probably a little bit of everything, of course, but um, yeah, it's interesting. And then even for like stuff like this face, just as a for instance, or this one, I wonder if he ever like really likes the top of a head but doesn't like the bottom, and so he sculpts out a bottom piece, or if they're as is. Oh man, God, it's crazy. Lots and lots of guns. Oh, what is it called? There's a show on HBO, Black Black Sails. It's some pirate show. The beginning of it totally looks like Chris's stuff. I forgot about that. I don't want to get into it because I don't think it's his work. It's more like a 3D model. Black, what is that called? Black Sails. Oh, let me Google it really quick while we're looking at this. Give me 1 second. I just want to see. HBO Black. Yeah, it was called Black Sails. Yeah, check out the intro to Black Sails. And I forgot about that. I was the first time I saw it, I was like, "What?" Yeah, this is just crazy. They look so fragile to move. She's thinking about what she's holding. Some weird crab, spider, lobster thing. These are nice pieces right here. If you're mechanically inclined, you might be able to recognize this stuff. You're like, dude, that's from freaking fully articulated Zimazama. Clearly, you can see that. I mean, I can't even make up a mechanical name. That's how deep my mechanical knowledge goes. Yeah, see, this is where it gets interesting to me. Is I'm assuming this is the application of paint to some extent, but do you see I called it melty stuff before, but like on this, and so you wonder, is it just paint or what? Like, how many of the pieces are not on the original? I mean, some stuff you can obviously tell that wasn't, but okay, so we'll do like 3 more of these old ones, and then we're gonna look at the new stuff because I'm very curious to see how this is all evolved, because these are like the OGs. that's crazy. Damn. This is what I'm saying. Like, once this guy has a budget and he can start to like expand from this, it's just, man, there's like no limits. God, this is incredible. I actually kind of like this perspective too. It's fun to see it. It's sort of a bit of a down shot. It gives it a little bit more of a dynamic, almost like this scene. There's a lot more action in these poses too, if you really look. It's kind of interesting. Even this is more like things sort of going on. This guy. Wow, man, that's a great one. Napoleon. Oh, yeah. This is crazy. Actually, I have a black drawing started that's got a little bit of a vibe like this. It's like a similar shot. More, there's more to it, but this is also a crop also, but man, it's wild. Oh man, that's great. See, and this is interesting too, is you wonder if at some point he worries about repetition in his work, like, you know, like a real nice statue like this, you know, you get it, like say it's a found item. How many times do you repurpose this pose? Because, you know, obviously this one's been used here, and he's holding a ring, and he's got a weapon in his hand, all that, and there's, it looks like there might be a woman standing on his head, but, you know, if you can get 10 of them, do you buy 10 and spread them out? Because, I mean, he seems to cut them apart and use different pieces here and there. But, yeah, I would think at some point you wouldn't want to be using the same objects. Except maybe the small ones, you could maybe do it a little easier. Love the color on this. It's nice. But you could see, like, even in a room, if you had these pieces, if you had like sort of a deep blue light, you know, sort of casting stuff here, and then something that was creating maybe smaller rim lights from here. I mean, lighting really would be key to creating the huge dynamic element to them. He could paint them this way too, though. You know, the thing is you could, in theory, when the pieces were done, is go in with like airbrush or aerosol and pull things out and push things back just based on the application of paints that you use. Again, I've never seen any of these in person to know, but you know, you could paint it all flat color or you know, mishmash of different shades, value, fairly dark, and then start to pull things out with lighter applications of paint, and that would look great too. That's kind of what I do with my black drawings. I think black first, even though I work on white paper, but oh, that's cool. Jesus. Is this his army of people? What is this? Okay, so then, yeah, let's do this. We're going to do this. We're going to shut all these. And all of this, like I said, you can actually find on his Instagram. I have folders and folders of this stuff that I've saved over the last 10 or 15 years. But I figured this would probably be the best the best photos and stuff. That's cool. But anyway, we're going to open another chunk here in 1 second. I just want to shut all these. His drawings are good. If those pieces are his drawings, they're actually real nice. It looked like some of them were taken apart. That was kind of interesting. Let me see if I can spot those photos really quick. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna grab a couple like that I individually picked. Come on, load the freaking folder. I hate when it does this. Let's see what this is. Okay, so look, this is like a shelf with a bunch of stuff on it. That's really, really cool. Oh man, look at that. Isn't that neat? Can you imagine how much of this stuff he has? He must have 50 million tubs of this. Oh, here we go. Okay, good now. Wow, that is really cool. Okay, so let's see. There was a couple of photos that caught my eye that I wanted to check out. Here's another one. See, I remember photos from way back. They weren't on Instagram, it was somewhere else. Where you could... Oh, God, look at this. Okay, this is interesting. Look at this. Oh, my gosh. He must go to the swap meet and buy everything that's, like, cheap. But, again, once you have a budget, Beeple... You know, Beeple's got deep pockets now. He can do some very extravagant things. All right, look at this. See, this is a different workspace than I remember him in. I had seen photos that look literally like a house garage. This is next level. This is when you've had some success. He could probably get a pretty nice warehouse in Lawrence, Kansas for a fairly affordable price, though. But, man. Well, he's got a tuba. There's boats and ships and all kinds of stuff. How exciting. It was really, like, you know what? This is actually a really neat, like, what do you call it? Like, revisit on this. This is interesting. There was a photo of him, though, sitting in front of a bunch of parts that I wanted to grab. And then, like I said, we're still going to go and look at more recent stuff. Let me see if I can find that one photo. If you see it, yell at the computer screen, although I won't hear you. Oh, we're getting close to it. This is it right here. This is one of them. This isn't the exact phone. So that's what I want to see. Yeah. You are a madman. Oh my god. I can't even imagine shipping that. It doesn't seem possible. They break everything. Definitely wouldn't want to use FedEx. No offense, FedEx, but I got my eye on you. Alright, let me see. There was a shot that was a down shot of stuff right around that photo. I remember the dog in that, and I was like, oh, wait. Let me see if I can spot it. We're super close to it. Was it up here? This. Yeah, okay, so this is the piece sideways. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, his drawings are good. I've got a video processing while I'm shooting this. Oh, here's this. Look at this. How funny. We geeked out on this for a while, or I did. But look at that. How simple it was at that point. So interesting. So he even did put on the Medusa face thing that was here. You know, obviously there was a head here. We had characters all over it. But there was quite a bit that he had built onto this. Or might have been on this wall back here. But pretty fascinating. So, okay, so let's shut the rest of these. Now we'll open up a new stack. But, oh, no, not that. File. Open. Yeah, here we go. Alright, Chris, we're going to look at some new stuff. We'll start. Oh, yeah, he did a chess set. So let's start right about. Let's start right above here. Yeah, let's grab this. Oh, those were chess pieces we were looking at before. I get it. All right, this should be interesting. Let's see if it'll open all these. Yep, it's going to. Good. Oh my god, his chess set would be awesome. I don't play chess, or would be a consideration. I shot a Phil Hale video. I'm shooting two. This is Friday, but I shot an hour-long Phil Hale video that I had to edit, and then I'm shooting this, and this will go up Saturday, and tomorrow I'm shooting Super Fun Sunday, which is gonna be a long one. So, monkey. Shock the monkey. This will be one of the longer Kris Kuksi videos on YouTube, I imagine. And Kris, if you do see this, we love your work. It's phenomenal. So hopefully that you take this as a positive thing, because it's meant to be that way. And like I said, I'm going to link to all your stuff. So. Said it's funky. I'm not talking to Kris at this point. I'm just saying, talking in general. But I talked about, like, when I originally started doing videos on YouTube, and it started going into, people seemed to be interested in me going over different people's work. When I would originally pick artists, I would always try to pick stuff that you know, they're not currently working and stuff like that. Just because it's like, you don't want to, one, spread misinformation about their work. Two, they may not take it as a positive thing, and so it's like a little bit of a conflict of interest doing them, but try to be as respectful as possible. So give this 1 second. It'll take a second for it to, like, think through all the possibilities. But oh, here it goes. Yeah, it's going up all files. That's fine. Right. But yeah, he seems to use like. Again, it's like speculation on my part. It looks like a fairly thick and very shiny paint when he puts it on it. I don't know if it doesn't seem like the whole pieces are. Wow, it's nuts. And that's small, but look at all the detail on it. There's the crawling army man right here. If I'm not mistaken, this is the dude with the gun. Might not be, but I mean, it looks similar to it. But this is not a very large piece for as many additional accessories as he's placed on it. So there's even a little figure here and a bunch of stuff down here. It's crazy. I'm curious to see the chess set. Okay, here we go. I mean, I've seen some photos of it, but I always, like I said, I screen cap it. I mean to go back and look at the stuff later, and I just never do. It's like having the image is like part of the process. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. So these must... that's interesting. I'm assuming that he probably did bigger pieces. They were maybe scanned 3D, and then they were shrunk down to the model, like a cast size, this size for the chess pieces. And these might be ones that he's... like, you know, they send you, like, sort of samples, and he's cleaning them up to maybe get the model more refined. Or their tests, like sculpts. It's interesting. It's funny. Oh gosh, this one's crazy. There's like a lot of like pornographic stuff going on here. This one's like more hardcore. Interesting. Rococo. They call this dirty Rococo. Not for Yoko, Rococo. Lots of things going on here. The irony is he put screws everywhere. Do you see that? The screws haven't been a theme on his other pieces, as far as I know. I haven't seen that many screws, but this was interesting too. I saw this monkey. I was wondering what was going on here. Sorry, my phone's ringing to the right of me. It's a scam, likely. Whoa, buddy. Whoa. This is fancy. Oh, it's a screw in his head. Again, more screw symbolism. So much for war and redemption. Oh, man, it's so great. I love that pose. This one's actually seems larger and more clear. Man, it's crazy. It's interesting. So parts of this are do repeat. You can see this are similar. You know, like the figures are a little bit different that are on each of them, but the base seems to be similar. This is interesting. And he's got one over here. It's interesting too, is because you know, again, we're looking at this almost like this, but it would be fun to you know, in person, like stand here and look at it, you know, or look up at it. You get a lot of different things going on. That's why these details are so cool. Oh, let me go full screen mode. So once we get through this batch, I am going to end the video, though. I don't want to go too long, but this is crazy. So few people will probably make it through this video. Well, who knows? Maybe not. You can look on YouTube and find out like your engagement, how long the average person watches your videos. I have a decently high number, honestly, for it from what I've read. When I log in, I think sometimes it sort of tells me. But long videos, it's tough. I mean, I get it. You really have to put aside some time to check it out. So if you're hanging in there at this point, then you obviously like Kris's stuff enough to check it out. Oh man, it's cool. Man, the chess pieces are great. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. The pawns are great. Oh my god. Oh, that's cool too. Oh my god. Wow. Holy shit. So it's a bull and a bear. Oh, I get it. I didn't I didn't really look at it all. I was focused on I was obsessed with this, and then I kept trying to make sure that that was a bull. Now I see the whole piece. Wow. Damn, that's crazy. The colors are great too. I'm still here. I'm just checking everything out. I hadn't seen this piece before. Excuse me. Oh, this is nice. Wow. Oh, that's crazy. Is this... Yeah, so... Wow, they're upside down. That's wild. I wonder how many of these cranes he has. Or stork, whatever it is. If you hear screaming, it's just the person in my basement. Ignore it. That'd be something if that was true. 3 years from now, it comes out. It's like Rich. When he was shooting YouTube videos, and you could hear the screaming, it was in his basement. Damn, I gotta do that. It would be a story for the ages. Ages. In a way, his work really isn't actually super dark. It's definitely interesting, but you know, the creep factor isn't there that too heavily. But I don't think that's his intention either. Man, this is great. Love seeing these different angles. It's so good. God, there's so much going on. Even though I had seen the coins, it's interesting as I spot them in other places. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's funny. I wonder if those are actual size quarters. Because if that's a real quarter and that's a real quarter, or it doesn't look like the same. Um, and those are pennies? I don't know. That's crazy. It creates an interesting sense of scale. So I guess that makes sense because if it was bigger, like if this was bigger, it would be just a tremendously gigantic piece. And then you've got all the other coins too. So yeah, it's interesting. So if you've spotted any things that you recognize in here, let me know. I'd be curious of what it was. To my eye, I don't spot too much that I consider super common, or that he uses a lot. My familiarity with this stuff is pretty low, but I have a pretty decent visual memory, so it's like I'm. There we go. It's a little low res. I think there's going to be quite a few more, though, coming up in a second. Yeah. Man, they're really beautiful. Wow. Damn, that's crazy. Oh, man, look at that. Dude. You know there would be fist fights over who gets to play with these characters. I want to be the bad guys. No. That's nice. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, I'm gonna start to wrap this up because I gotta get to work. I had some time to do a second video, and I figured it would just kind of clear the deck for tomorrow because I'm already gonna be doing a long video tomorrow. So yeah, this was fun. I hadn't seen this much of his work in a long time, and I've never ever looked at it so big, like on a computer screen. So it's actually really fun seeing all this. This will be good, like lots of neat, just three-dimensional ideas that you can kind of plop in your head, and not even to do something like this. I'm just saying I think it's good to see real form as opposed to like drawings. You know, it helps. I think it helps people be able to think form. You know, when you see it in space. Just checking all the small figures. Wow. Ricola. Oh man. wonder. Oh, I went past that last one fast. It was like it looked like Captain America, but like with a different head or something. I want to see in the pictures if I can spot Guillermo del Toro in any of the photos. I'm just curious of what one he might own. If there's any like sort of picture with him having it at his house. God, I'll tell you what, like Del Toro's house. Oh my gosh, I want to go there so bad, but you would need like hours. You're like, look, Guillermo, invite me over, and then just let me run loose and just see all your stuff. Please. Oh my gosh, look at this. Wow. Again, that very thick paint seems to be on a lot of this. Okay, so yeah, let me. That's kind of cool. Okay, so we're going to look at the last chunk of images. The edit at this point might be a little bit weird in the video. My computer kind of locked up towards the end of me wrapping up the video yesterday, and so what I wanted to do is just have a proper ending to the video. So we'll look at a few more pieces. I'll link to all of Kris's social media, and you can check out everything. And hopefully this was fun. I know it's a little different. It's sculpture. It's all these combinations of things, but I mean, I definitely think that there's a very macabre sort of vibe to a lot of the work that he does, and I think it's really, really interesting. It's fascinating seeing all the work and just parts that go to this. It's really, really insane. And he uploaded a bunch of really beautiful photos yesterday. I was tempted to grab those and throw them in this video, but you can go to his Instagram and actually check them out. But yeah, pretty amazing. So as I wrap up this video, I'm actually preparing to do a super fun Sunday. So as soon as I'm done with what I'm shooting right now, I'm actually going to go check everybody's recommendations. I'm going to grab stuff that I think is, some of the most interesting and best horror that we've been lucky enough to check out over the last like 50 years, something like that. There'll be contemporary stuff from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I probably won't go too far back past that, but obviously there might be a few. Oh, I actually am, because I'm going to do some. I actually am. I take it back. All right, look at this. This is so badass. And again, if you, I said, I don't normally plug, if I'm doing an artist focused video, I generally won't plug my stuff much, but if you like stuff like this, you should definitely check out my Instagram and look at, in particular, the post that I posted yesterday. It's very, very similar. Like I said, I when I was doing my pieces, I was not aware of Kris's work, but I had a bunch done, and then I did see his work. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. We're kind of, in some ways, doing similar things. What it is the black drawing that I posted yesterday, what makes it unique and similar to this is the fact that we don't necessarily deal with size relationships all the time. So the thing is you can have a very large figure next to a small figure. Whatever looks good for the composition, you kind of go with. And again, I do mine traditional art. So anyway, but you could check it out if you want. But, we definitely... I'd be curious of, how I came up with the idea was just, I had some things I was good at drawing and some things that I wasn't. And so I figured, well, if I just draw things that I'm good at and put them all in like pieces and design them nicely, like, then I'm fine. So, but then I spent the last few years learning all the hard stuff. So now it'll be interesting going back to those pieces because I'm a much, much better artist. Penciler, draftsman. I mean, I understand a bazillion things that I didn't know anything about back then. So, should be interesting fusing them both. But all right, let's get back to Kris's stuff and wrap up this video. Lots of guns everywhere in his things. He doesn't. He does use skulls. I would say that they're not overwhelmed with skulls. There's definitely a creep factor. It's so crazy. He is just like, man, it's so meticulous. If space aliens came to Earth and they saw this stuff, I think they would be concerned. They'd be like, these humans are nuts. What's going on? And this is what's crazy too is I would almost, well, I mean, it's all just guessing, but like I would say that probably this mask was one piece. This is probably something he put on it. And you just see all these things that he affixes to these things. Like that chain might not have been there, or any of those chains, in fact. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but in some ways it is. The fact that he works so hard on this stuff. Very, very interesting guy. I would love to talk to him. He takes kit bashing to the next level. I remember this piece. And this looks like one of my black drawings too. I have a piece called Falling, and there's a person falling into the scene, and it's just really similar. It's just so funny. I have other pieces laid out too that are nuts, but I with traditional drawing, I like to have more negative space. It seems to work better. He uses the room as negative space. When you see like the further views, you get like the silhouettes, or most of the time, something along the lines of, this. They're usually perpendicular. There'll be things hanging down, and there's a balance to it, even if it's a little random. But that's you see his pieces have a little bit of that kind of vibe going on. Sometimes he uses repetitive things. I pointed it out earlier in the video where you'll see things that are identical on both sides, and other times he doesn't. It just depends on what kind of balance he's probably seen in the piece. Oh my god. This almost looks like an Android Jones painting, if you're familiar with his work. It's like a surreal digital painter that worked with a lot of shapes. Man, this is great. So this is a long video, but I mean, to me, there's just a million ideas and fun things that you see going on here. Man, it's so cool. His Instagram is interesting too. I was sort of checking out the images yesterday after I had shot the video, and it's really, really fun seeing the photographs of like the stuff in process. He could take this a long way too. There's a lot of potential with this in terms of like things that he could do to keep making it evolve and feel different and have different moods and different ideas and stuff like that. Can see that he's exploring that stuff more, but yeah. So okay, we'll do like two more and then I'm gonna wrap it up because this video is ridiculously long. Oh, this is beautiful. God, man, it's so great. It's just incredible. It's funny, just doing the videos that I've done this week, it's like now there's like 3 more books I need to get. I need to get the Phil Hale music Kickstarter book, which is on Amazon. It's actually affordable on Amazon. It's only like 55 bucks, luckily, because on eBay it was like 200 for one of the ones signed. And then I want to get Kris's book. It's like I thought I was out of the book game and I'm dragged back in. Oh my god. Yeah, we'll end it on this. Like I said, I love seeing these alternate photos where like the camera's now above everything. It's so freaking cool. Oh my god. I love it. Love, 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 love it. I remember when I first saw his work, thinking like I was trying to figure out what I was like, does he make all this stuff? What is going on? because some of it is just so weird that you go, there's no way, like what would be a circumstance where this would have ever even been made? But I guess if you're searching all over the world, you could find stuff like this. But man, that's so crazy. uh, I can't stop. Oh, that's cool. Damn. I went to Italy years ago and was able to see a lot of art and sculpture in person, and it's almost like a sensory overload. Like like after a few days, you're just like, I can't even. I'm overstimulated by art. I can't tell what's good or. it's, it's like you almost need like a break. But okay, let me do two more. So this is the book though. This looks like a Japanese version of it. It's probably very, very kick-ass. Japanese don't mess around when it comes to anything. Oh man, it looks nice. It's a big, thick book too. Damn. Okay, so I'm getting this and the Phil Hale book next week. And then no more books. I've got a book monkey on my back. Okay, yeah, we'll end on this. All right, you guys have a great day. Kris, if you ever see this, your work is amazing. This was so fun to do. Hopefully, many, many people will go and head over to your Instagram, follow you, pick up the book and stuff. So, yeah, big fan. And keep doing what you're doing. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. And stay tuned. If you're on my Patreon, you'll actually have super fun Sunday in probably like 4 hours. And if not, you'll see it tomorrow. All right, bye.